for the bottom layer of wet on wet, all you're gonna do is, it's kind of up to you, but we're not gonna wet the section first. You're just gonna paint some shapes or lines or something. You can do a pattern if you want to, a design that we're going to layer on top of tomorrow. So for example, and you can use a bunch of different colors or just one color, up to you. But say I wanted to just do a bunch of, let's see, I'll just do a bunch of different shapes and stuff. So I'm gonna do like a circle here. And because the paper isn't wet already, the paint is only going to go where we want it to go. It's not gonna bloom, it's not gonna spill anywhere else. But keep your shapes or lines or whatever you're doing, don't have them touch each other. Try to keep them separate and away from each other. So you are gonna have some white areas in between. This is the wet on dry, yeah. So right now we're doing the dry section. So tomorrow we're going to put wet paint on top of these shapes or lines that you guys are doing, but they're gonna be dry. So for today, we're just kind of prepping our paper. So again, you can do lines, you can do shapes, you can do patterns. Totally up to you. You can use as many or as little colors as you want. But the key is these shapes are not running into each other. They're staying separate from each other. Same with the lines. If you decide to do lines, they're staying away and separate from each other. And remember, with watercolor paint, it is supposed to be transparent. So we should see some of the white of the paper coming through. Your colors are gonna look kind of light. See how my blue looks pretty light? So if anything happens to where, say I was gonna do green, and real quick, if you're painting, just go ahead and take a look up here. Say I'm doing green, and when I go to put my green down, it looks really, really dark, like this, and I can't really see through it. See how dark that little bit of green is? That just means that you don't have enough water mixed in with it. So what you can do to kind of counteract that is take your brush, rinse it out in the water, kind of dry it off a little bit so it's just damp, and then go back over that line or that shape that you did with a damp brush, and that will add a little bit of water to it to kind of lighten it up a little bit, because we don't want these to be too dark. We want to be able to see the white of the paper through them just a little bit. Okay, so you're filling that section with just some shapes or some lines. And these shapes and lines should not touch each other, and we should have some areas that stay white in the background too. So you guys can go ahead and start on that. I'll just finish mine real quick. I'll just do like something like this. Again, you want these to be a little bit transparent. Don't want them to be super, super dark. And you don't necessarily want them running into each other. And then what we'll do is we'll let this dry, and then tomorrow we will add some shapes on top of it once it's dry, just to show you guys kind of the process of painting wet paint on top of wet paint and dry paint on top of dry paint. So again, you can do pattern, design, whatever you want for this guy.